trying. Okay, so it looks like it went back to the camera.
Nope, we're good.
No, we're good? Okay. Yeah.
Okay, it's loud.
Yeah, no, I just fixed it.
Had to have us change those batteries.
Okay.
See, I'm dyslexic. I didn't see that.
Yes.
Oh, we're on a lag. We're on a big lag. Oh, lordy. No, it's live and then this, but it's just like, it's so far off. Yeah, it's like 15 seconds behind.
Yeah, so we can go ahead and just let it finish through
All right.
intro. Even if it's a little off with the 8 o'clock time or 7 o'clock time. That's fine. I mean, the idea is just to go through.
Excuse me. Hey, if anyone sees a peach sparkling water, let me know.
You can hear us?
Rob talking about there's being a lag. Can you really hear it? I can. I'm listening to it.
Oh, lordy.
Does it have music?
No, I'm not hearing any sound, honestly. All I hear is you talking.
I've muted everything. I don't know. No audio at all. Is there something?
Yeah, I can hear us. But I can't hear the video.
I don't know.
Oh, you sounded really clear because you were.
I got the desktop and
2 years to the public in its original form as a movie theater and multi-purpose venue. In addition to showing films, the Tivoli Theater
I got
will
the
accommodate
desktop
musical
audio
ensembles,
unmuted and
events,
have the
conferences,
intro
and catering.
going.
Owen Valley Winery is also
And the
leasing a
intro
room in
shouldn't be
front.
picking us up.
Theater Executive Director Dana Beth Evans says opening night is sold out.
It's a small town theater in a small town community, and that's awesome because, you know, there's nothing like that small town feel, and people really get behind you and enjoy that and appreciate it, and will make sure that it stays the way that it was meant to be.
The Cook Group funded the restoration, which has included several unique projects. This spring they installed a fiber optic ceiling that resembles the night sky as it would have looked when the theater opened on New Year's Eve 1928. Owen County Preservation's President Debbie Jordan says the theater holds special memories for many Spencer residents, some of whom will attend the opening.
It's great to say we've made it, and the community has such memories here, and they all had their first dates. They all met their future husbands here, and in fact, one of our projectionists, Harley Allen, is in a nursing home, and he will be here for our gala, and he will open the curtains again.
The theater has 290 seats and will show movies each weekend. For WTIU News, I'm Rachel Hartog.
Go to biddingowl.com, and up towards the top right you can see manager sign in or bidder sign in. You want to click on the bidder sign in. Then you have an option of logging in. if you already have an account, or signing up. When you sign up, just enter the information it asks for, first and last name, and email. And then you have to choose a bidder display name. And it is important that you check display name availability. If it's not available, it'll tell you and you can choose another one. Then you set up your password, confirm it, and then fill in the information for the address, phone number. If you choose to enter a cell phone number, you can set the account up so that you receive either an email notification or a text message if you are outbid on an item that you are bidding on. That's kind of a nice feature. Down at the bottom, you fill in the image text from the box above, click I agree, and then sign up, and you are set to start bidding.
Live.
Welcome to the Historic Tivoli Theater's 2021 sponsorship party and auction.
I am Andrea White. I am the director of the theater.
I'm Robert White, the Vice President of Owen County Preservation, the owner of the Tivoli Theater.
Well, this year's a little different, like everything has been. We are doing an online auction with our sponsorship party. Now, you may be asking what our sponsorship party does. Well, it actually provides the funding that we need to pay for all the licensing of the movies that come for our throwback series, like all the Thursday movies, our summer series. We get that funding because of sponsors like you, and we need your funding today to provide those movies for 2021 and 2022.
So, we had a thing going beforehand. Andrew thinks this is a date because we're both dressed up. We had dinner and we have a babysitter. You should let us know if you think this is a date or if this is just part of the job.
I have a feeling it's just part of the job. So we know that many of you have already gone online, you've started bidding, and we are currently up to having almost everything at least having a single bid on it. So you guys are doing great. But if you have questions about bidding, what you can do right now is go online to biddingout.com/capital T for Tivoli, capital R, or capital T for theater, making sure you spell it R-E at the end. And you can register online. With your registration, you also can then bid on the different movies and the auction items that we have available. And
We have some sustaining things where maybe you can't afford to bid for a movie, but we have the popcorn package, which that money also helps us with things that arise that either we weren't planning on, or it offsets some of the regular expenses, or makes up for a movie that maybe didn't get full sponsorship. And there is also some office stuff that you can bid for, and these are things that are $20 and $10. So every little amount assists the theater with its operations that are being run. And with that, if you maybe don't want to do online bidding, we have a phone number you can call. We have some people waiting by that will take your bids over the phone. And that phone number is 812-714-8137. And David and Lydia would be happy to help you with your bids if you call the theater.
so, give generously, because as you know, this last year, everybody has been impacted by COVID-19. And one of the things that has been difficult for us as a theater operation is that we've not been able to have our regular movies. So with every donation, with every auction item that is bringing in money, it is really helping us to continue operating as a theater. It's very important that we continue to have some kind of presence here in our community, because our community depends on us. The businesses around us depend on us. So it's important that you give however you can. Would you like to do some door prizes now?
You can.
So one of the things is, if you registered beforehand, we have put your name in this handy little popcorn bucket. We have a lot of those around. And with that, we're going to draw your name, and you can either select a wine, or if you would prefer to not have a wine, you can select one of our $45 Super Saver Passes, which gets you 12 admissions into the theater for any movie that you like. So, with that, do you want to draw the first one?
We do have one other door
Oh.
prize
Yes.
that Owen County Preservations has acquired. It is the recent publication from Indiana Landmarks. It's called Rescued and Restored. It's 144 pages on structures throughout the state of Indiana that have been saved by local preservation organizations. And we here at Owen County Preservations were thrilled that some of the works that we've done in the last nearly 30 years have been captured on 5 pages in this book. So it also is an item. There's only one of them available, so once it's gone, it is gone for the door prizes, but we do have those copies here available for purchase.
So what we're going to do is that we're going to draw these, and we're going to keep them in order. And so I will contact you after we're done with all of this today and ask you which item that you would like. And we'll just kind of go through the items as they're available based on the order that we draw your name. Okay, so for our first name, we have Aaron Pendleton. So congratulations to Aaron, and thank you for your auction item donation bid. That's the word I'm looking for, a bid. That is what happens whenever you have an auction. You bid on things. So, thank you for that. I'll get a hold of you. You started to talk about some of the projects that the theater, or that Owen County Preservations have done. Why don't you tell people about this great theater?
So this year at the Tivoli alone, while we've been closed and had downtime, we have worked on some projects here. All the seats have been cleaned. Took came in and started scrubbing on the seats to make sure that they were safe for everyone. They've got a deep clean done on them. But we also repainted the auditorium floor. So those are a couple of the little things that we've been doing. We have improved the waterproofing in the crawl space below the theater, so most people don't realize that, but when you come in the theater, you're actually walking on all of the new heating and cooling that runs through, keeps the offices and stuff warm. This theater was built in 1928, and so as we're nearing the 100-year mark, things continually pop up that we need to work on, and so we are active on keeping those things running, and we want this theater to be here for another 100 years. So,
why don't you tell us a little bit about the renovation?
okay, so in 2012, we were speaking with Indiana Landmarks President Mark Davis, and at that point in time, we were really in need of a financial backing. We had spent most of our revenue on the cleanup of the building, just to keep the building to where it was no longer dangerous to be in.
Didn't you have a budget problem?
We did have a pitching problem. So, but in 2012, after that pitching problem had been cleaned up, the Cook family came in and did a full sponsorship of this building. And so the Pritchard Brothers Construction came in to Cook and started the small areas of demolition that needed. We had some spots where the towers were sagging and they took them down, fixed the walls, put the towers back up. A lot of people don't realize the back corner of the building here was just being held by the utility lines. That all got took down, put back up. And then they started to make the theater look how it used to. Lots of photos and stuff have been gone over by the local preservation group and the people at the Carnegie, the Heritage and Culture Center. Vic and Jason Keeney were very instrumental in the details on things. From photos, they were able to get a lot of things figured out exactly how they looked, go over the descriptions of the way colors looked from the newspaper articles, and today you have all that hard work. We reopened the theater in April of 2013 after a full year of full-time and overtime work on making this beautiful jewel, what I like to refer to as the heart of the downtown, spring back to life. That opening weekend, the people who came in and were just thrilled. The look of, oh my gosh, I can't believe you've done it. And that was a huge shout out to the Cook family for what they did. And they did that in honor of all their employees here at the local Cook Medical Plant in Spencer, Indiana. They wanted to give something back to the community that facility was in. And so the last 8 years, the board and the staff here at the Tivoli have worked hard to maintain the dignity of the theater and what it needs to be, and choosing the programming that you will see, whether it be the live movies or it be the throwback series that we offer. So sorry, I've been informed I need to keep my mic higher. So
we're all just in this trial and error. This is the first time that we've done a live stream. So yeah, we're learning as we go here. But thank you for all the history, because it really is important to know where you come from and what places look like beforehand, because we do have a beautiful theater here. It's historic, it's been renovated to look similar to what it was whenever it first opened. If you stayed to, if you checked in a little bit early, we had a video going beforehand and there were some trivia questions on there, so I just want to go over a couple of them. One, you mentioned our opening in 2013. That movie that was shown was The Great and Powerful Oz, correct?
close. Oz the Great and Powerful. So
I don't know how I got to be the director. I'm really not that good at movies.
you had the words right, just not in the right order. So we started selling those tickets in advance. It was Disney's Disney's new twist on The Wizard of Oz. And so it was a sellout show each and every one of the 4 shows that weekend, and we learned a lot that first weekend. We learned the pomp cannot be facing the customer, because they can take too long filling up the cups and the line doesn't go down. So we also learned the cash register was in the wrong spot. So before the second weekend opened up, we had a lot of switching around and fixing. That way we can get some of those few opening weekend headaches out of the way.
But it's been quite a while since that reopening. We've shown a lot of shows, and I think we're getting down, getting a pretty fine-tuned mechanism these days. We want to go ahead and do another quick drawing because we have about 10 items that we're giving away here. So do you want to draw another name out for us?
Sure.
While he's drawing that name, right after that, we're going to go over the auction items that you can bid on.
It's Matthew Montgomery.
Congratulations, Matthew. So I will get a hold of you to see which of you items you would like between our wine selections that were donated. I believe that we have, I don't remember where we got these donated from. I think they're from
Valley.
Owen Valley.
There are some from Owen Valley there, and I think there might be one or two from Oliver.
Yes. And then, as I said, we also do have the Super Saver Pass that you're welcome to take instead of a wine. And then we do have the one book available for whoever takes it first. So, although pretty good friends with Erin, and I have a feeling she might take the book from us. But let's start on some auction items that we have available that you are bidding on right now. These are items that have been donated to the theater, and they are helping to provide some extra income from our lack of revenue during 2020. So we have right here some great sunglasses and a summer basket that was donated from Valley Optical, the local eye care doctor. Her practice is over by McDonald's. So we want to thank her for her donation of the sunglasses and this nice basket.
Yes, they're located on Fletcher and Morgan Streets.
Then we also have a great book, A Guide to Natural Resources of Southern Indiana. If you like to go out and see what's going on around Indiana when the weather's a little nicer and warmer.
It truly is, if we're still in part of COVID, the perfect gift. It's a way to get out in nature and enjoy the peacefulness and be relaxed and be outside. But not just that, it's a great way to work off those winter pounds.
That's right. Or COVID pounds, either way. So another item we have is a tumbler and pen and a key set, or a decorative set that was donated to us by Crescent Moon Creations. So we thank them for that. One of our other items here, we have 2 park passes. These are good for the 2021 admission park, Indiana State Park.
With that park pass, there is a regular park pass and a golden park pass. So make sure if you're bidding for that golden pass, that you are the right age for that golden pass.
Otherwise, you'll have to give it away to someone who is. And those have been donated by the Friends of McCormick's Creek. I believe they also put some information in there so that if you want to find out more about the organization, they're happy to help you out.
So we have here a print of, done by T.J. Volker of an owl. It is signed by her as well. And we do have a couple sets of hand-knitted socks. These were done by Diana Curry with the Joyful You. So for all the knit lovers, those will keep your feet nice and warm. And we have tickets for Wonderland. There are 4 of those, correct? So there's a set of 4 tickets for the Wonderland over in Bloomington. Then we have
Another print by T.J. Volker, The Lion. Another great and then we also have 2 tickets to Holiday World. So as you're getting ready to plan some summer fun, maybe you want to bid on the Holiday World tickets and get those. One of the other items we have down here is a photo shoot by Amy Hershberger Weaver. So she is offering her services to take pictures of like your family or senior pictures. It's kind of however you want to use them. And then I think Rob's going to show our last 2 donation items here.
So we have a couple prints here by the local artist Ken Buckaloo. We have one of the bridge there at Holmes Creek State Park. And the other one is, give me a moment, I'll look it up. Of the old iron bridge that used to be in town, that as you left Washington Main Street, the roadway came to a triangle. For people who might be younger, do not know, we used to not have the Dunn Memorial Bridge that went up to the state park. That came in the 60s. The highway Deacon Spencer went up Main Street, and then it crossed the bridge, and you took River Road up and came out by the park. That was the way you went to Bloomington for many, many years. You actually crossed over by the MyPath area, a little area that was originally called Southport. If you've been following you might be from Spencer, Tony Neff has been posting a lot of photos he got from the 19 teens in that area.
Are we having difficulty with our video feed at the moment? Okay, give us just a moment to check that out. Robert, how about you go over our movies that people are bidding on? Oh,
There are one other auction item. That is the French hotel stay and golf trip. It is a overnight resort and golf for two at the Donald Ross course, and there are two of those. So as you're bidding, you can keep an eye on both of those, and those were generously donated by the Cook Properties for us to give away, and or not give away, but to be bid on and sponsored tonight. So the movies. We have several choices of movies tonight. I'm going to go over the names of the series for you. We have our summer series, which we do every June and July. It's a Wednesday movie that we have that comes out early. Today we have a early version and an afternoon version. Those are great middle of the week break for the family, where you can bring your kids and have something to do, break the heat, get away from the house, and those have been some of our best movies in the summertime. It's a great way for the kids to get out and do things. Then we have our I should go over the names of the movies in the summer series. They are Croods 2, Sing, Despicable Me, Trolls 2, Curious George, Secret Life of Pets, and Minions. Then we have our Patriotic Month, and that, we try to plan something around July. That is July, correct? I might be off the month. Yeah. It is a patriotic themed month. So, anyway, that we have Saving Private Ryan, Forrest Gump, and Pearl Harbor. Then we have an 80s classic month. And that are some movies that, one we've had here a couple times, and people just continue to ask for it. That is the Goonies.
It's been very popular with our private rentals.
And every so often I find a kid that has never heard, "Hey, you guys!" And when you start to explain it to them, you get the laughs and everything. But a great movie that, as a boy who had two brothers, we loved that movie growing up in the 80s. But then we have Crocodile Dundee and Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Funny thing with Crocodile Dundee, of course, I'm an 80s girl. So, whenever this came out, I had some friends that thought my dad was Crocodile Dundee. He had the big knife, he had the hat. So, since I'm the director, I get to choose the movies. And this one's a little bit for my dad. So, go ahead here. We're doing a month for Jimmy Stewart because, well, there's a lot of movies with him in it.
So, that month we have The Man Who Knew Too Much with Doris Day and Jimmy Stewart. Then we have Harvey. Who here hasn't talked to someone before that no one else can see? Come join us and see Harvey and the Invisible Rabbit. Then there's The Man Who Shot Leslie Valance. Some people may say that's a John Wayne movie. Well, John Wayne's in it, but maybe it's a Jimmy Stewart movie. Friendsgiving. This was suggested by a friend of ours.
One of our committee members, this one for us. And it is basically a celebration of Thanksgiving with your friends. So this one will actually be during November. And we have Wonderful Life, which, yes, it could have went into the Jimmy Stewart category, but we're putting it in Friendsgiving.
There is Oh Brother Where Art Thou, and we might have a little singing competition with that. See if you can sing Man of Constant Sorrow better. So stay tuned for that.
And then another one we have is Smokey and the Bandit. Again, that could have went into the 80s category, but I think we'll put it in Friends too.
And then we have Mamma Mia. So we're getting ready next month to have our actual musical series here that is part of last year's series. But why stop the music? So we've got Mamma Mia coming here.
And I will have to kind of take a note here. It looks like our video feed, our battery is kind of wimping out on us. So you may just get a image with a lot of talking behind it. How much time we have left here. Looks like we've got
We have more time than she thinks.
yes, we do.
Anyway, following that, we have our holiday series, bringing back the most popular movie, Polar Express, where they get come in their PJs and enjoy the movie, get a little treat at the end of the movie, and if you've never had your kids sing, we like it hot, 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 when they get hot cocoa, well, this is one that you'll want for that. Then there is Christmas in Connecticut. Who doesn't love a snowy movie where you get the, is she the girl? Maybe she's not. Is she the girl? Maybe she's not. Oh, she's the girl. Barbara Stanwyck, she's great. Then we have The Grinch, the 2018 movie. I have to clarify that because there are multiple variations of The Grinch. And they have been very popular here lately. Seems like every 5 years they want to kind of redo that story, whether it's animated or live action.
And with The Grinch, we may also bring back our brunch with The Grinch. Last year we had to modify that because of COVID restrictions, but if everything's going well, we may bring that back. So if you come and see the movie, you get to visit The Grinch, and you can have some treats with that as well.
And then there's everyone's favorite, Buddy. Oh wait, Elf.
Elf.
Starring Buddy. So come join us for that. And we have the movie that most men love. They roar, they laugh. Christmas Vacation is just not Christmas without Chevy Chase. So look for that, get the bidding going. And our final holiday movie. So you might ask, why are there so many holiday movies? Well, we add movies in on Sunday nights with the holidays because it's a time that families want to be together. And so our last holiday movie is The Man Who Invented Christmas. It is a tell of how Christmas Carol became, what went through the mind as that book was being wrote. And so if you've not seen that movie, it is charming and lovely, and it will
It's fairly new. I mean, it's only come out the last couple of years, so it's kind of, we like to mix it up and have some classics that have been around a while, as well as some new ones too.
Then bringing back, we have Westerns again. We have The Quiet Man. We have Two Mules for Sister Sarah. Then we have Rio Grande. So come join us for those. And then we have Love in the Air. I'll let you handle this one, Danny.
So for this one, we have Jerry Mcguire, which, hello. And then we have Downton Abbey, if you want to get back to some of those more classic roles of Downton Abbey. And Ball of Fire, I know. I like that one, right?
Of course I like Ball of Fire. It's got Barbara Stanwyck again. Who doesn't? But she thinks it was You Had Me at Hello. We met in show choir. It was You Had Me at Twirl.
Oh.
Then we have sports again. Go Team Go. Now, people may think, is that a sport? Is it not? Happy Gilmore is a sport. It is full of golf. Knowing that, you get to see Bob Barker. So is it The Price is Right or The Price is Wrong? Are you a Happy Gilmore fan or a Bob Barker fan? If you don't know what I'm talking about, you need to check that out. Then we have Rudy, everyone's favorite football movie. Bringing in the guy who's trying so hard. He's pushing himself, keeps at it, and he makes it.
Well, and this past sponsorship party that we had, we featured Hoosiers, which obviously is a great Indiana basketball. So it only seemed fitting to bring Rudy with Notre Dame, because we've got to get those Indiana roots in there.
That's right. And then we have Remember the Titans. So that wraps up our sports teams. Now, we're only naming 3 here. That's because for each one of these, we also have that bidder's choice. There's a category for each one of these, or in each one of these categories, there is a spot where you can bid and you get to pick the movie. Now, it does have some stipulations because there are some movies that we can't get. Things that are in the Disney and Fox or Searchlight names are not available for repertoire films, what we like to call throwback movies. So once in a while we do hit a snag, but in any of these categories, if you win the bidding on the bidder's choice, you get to choose that 4th movie for that month.
We hope that means that you want to bid a little bit more because you want to bring your favorite movie to the Tivoli stage. So one of our next categories, we've got just 2 more full categories here. We have faith-based movies. So this would be movies like I Can Only Imagine, War Room, and Overcomer.
And then we have something that's new to the theater. We have had an organization that has been volunteering here ever since we opened the theater. That is the Spencer Pride organization. And so we wanted to be able to say thank you to them. So we are bringing in a LGBTQ plus month. And in that we have The Birdcage, A Single Man, and The Prom. And then...
Yes, we are going to do 1 week for Black History Month, or Black History, it's a month they do that,
yes.
right? And so we thought we'd throw Harriet in there because that was a movie that we weren't able to show here on our screen because of limitations, but we've heard it's a great movie, so we wanted to try and bring it too.
So that wraps up the movies that we have listed to bid for. Again, if you don't see something you quite like, start bidding on that bidder's choice. You can choose that movie that you want to bring to the theater.
I will do my best to bring the movie that you want. Let's go ahead and draw out a few more names for our door prizes. Diane Butler.
Tammy Mitchner.
One more for right now. You have to space out this time, Pete. Who decided to do a power of this? Sandra Wood. So again, if your name is drawn during this time segment, then I will contact you regarding our door prizes, which include either a bottle of wine, our Super Saver Pass with 12 admissions, or our wonderful book here on preservation. So, let's do some trivia. Obviously, we've talked about when it was first opened. Oh, hey, we've got an update on how much money we've collected so far. So far, we are at $16,500. This is awesome. I mean, I wasn't sure what to expect with an online bid because we like seeing everybody in person, and we're really sad that we couldn't do our in-person sponsorship party, but you guys are giving and giving and giving. You're doing so great. Again, that website to go to is biddingowl.com/capital T for Tivoli, capital R for theater.
Capital T for theater with the R-E instead of E-R.
Yes. Or you can just search us under the Bidding Owl site and we'll come up.
So, the Tivoli Theater is not the only theater to ever be in Spencer, Indiana. Spencer, Indiana has had 3 theaters total. We had the Princess Theater and the Majestic before we had the Tivoli Theater. But yet the Tivoli Theater remains today And it was brought to you all by Ernest Moore Quesney. Mr. Quesney was a famous sculptor who most of you have seen his statue that sits on the courthouse lawn. That is the spirit of the American Doughboy, his most famous statue that most people see today. Now I say famous because a lot of people remember the Oluk, which he was well known for, and it came in multiple sizes. But when you come into the Tivoli Theater today, we have two statues that are inside of our auditorium. Those are also by Ernest Moore Quesney. Mr. Quesney grew up in Spencer, and during the 19-teens, he was down in Augustus, Georgia, doing some Civil War monuments. And him and his wife, Betty, worked at a theater and ran it to make ends meet. Well, when Mr. Quesney and Betty came back up to Spencer, they wanted to give a little bit of that joy that they had. So they built the Tivoli Theater for $45,000 in 1928. The theater had a soft opening in December that year, but its big grand opening was during December 31st, kind of a big New Year's Eve party. So
someone once asked what Tivoli stands for, and Quesney said it stands for, this is Quesney's own little idea. Now here's another little fun thing for you. We were putting the doors back, or the windows of the, coming into the auditorium have Tivoli on it, and someone pointed out that Tivoli, spelled backwards, is I love it.
So when you come into the theater, you see Tivoli, but when you leave the theater, it's I love it. Okay, so we have an update on some movies that haven't quite been bid on yet, and those are some of the sponsors' choice for the Jimmy Stewart category, and then the Western area, and Love is in the Air, the faith-based, the sports, those sponsors' choice movies. If you're something that you didn't see the Jimmy Stewart movie that you like, and there's a Jimmy Stewart movie that you know, hey, I want Shenandoah on there. You know, you want to see Jimmy Stewart in a movie when he's a little older and he's trying to rescue his son who's been lost during the Civil War. You start clicking away at that bidder's choice and you can make that your movie. Then the Western month, you know, maybe Silverado's your favorite movie and you want to see young Kevin Costner hop on and off of that horse, you know, you click on that and start bidding.
And they don't have to be old movies. They can be something new, too. So, you know, we want to encourage you that if there was a movie that came out recently and we weren't able to bring it to the theater, and it falls in these categories, bid on that so that you can bring something like that to the theater.
And if no one bids on our romance movie, the Love is in the Air, for that bidder's choice, well, you'll have Andrew and I up here telling you how we met and how long it took us to finally tie that knot. And it'll be a sad romantic comedy that has a special ending with a sweet little one that we like to call Charlotte.
I'm sure everybody has seen Pictures of Charlotte. I kind of made her the honorary spokesperson of the theater since I'm the director.
And for all you Christian movie lovers, you know, we still have the faith-based sponsor's choice available. So maybe you've seen these movies, but there's one you thought we should have. Click away, bid on that.
Yes, and maybe if your church is looking to do something, this is a great opportunity for our church to sponsor a faith-based movie for us. So, you know, maybe call up your pastor or something and say, hey, what do you think about bidding on this movie for the theater?
And for all you sports lovers, maybe we didn't pick the type of sport you're playing. Maybe you like soccer. So bid on that bidder's choice and you can throw a soccer movie in there for that month. Then we also have a few movies that haven't had a sponsor yet. That is A Single Man. That stars, I know this, Juliana Moore, and it stars, tongue twister here. He's in Kingsman. He is, and I
And
looked at what this movie
that is
was
your
because
challenge
I
for
couldn't
tonight.
remember.
Look up that movie and see what that star's name is.
And then you can slap me on the back and say, hey, I got that movie for you, my sweet friend. The Prom is also available. Then we have Overcomer and War Room.
Yeah. Which,
So those
you
4
think
movies
about-
have not had bids yet. So click away and start bidding on those.
You think about all the movies that we have rambled off there just a minute ago, and there's a lot of movies there. So to only have 4 movies that we've not got sponsored, and then the few sponsors' choices available, you guys are doing great. So we thank you for bidding and making all these movies possible. Just also as a note, if a sponsor's choice selection is not bid on, then it will just go back to our committee to help us select the movie title for that.
I am Colin Burt. I'm so sorry, and I actually really like his acting, but I couldn't think of his name to save my life.
It's the pressure of the lights. They're really hot. Actually, it's not. It's just been great. So hopefully you're having as much fun as we are. And
So I do want to go back over the auction items that we have, just in case anyone has maybe forgot, needs a little reminder. So I did say we have 2 packages to French Lick with a room and a golf outing for 2.
correct.
So
Those were
here's the thing, ladies, forget the golf. Tell your husband to go golfing, hit the spa. Go to French Lick, have a nice night, hit that spa while your husband's out on the golf course, get yourself your
Hampered. Your opportunity.
treatment of your dreams. Relax. You know, maybe the mud bath is your thing there. Maybe it's the hot stones. Maybe it's just a nice massage. Someone hitting those muscles, making you feel better.
Maybe it's just time away from your husband.
I think my wife's betting on this one now. That being said, we also have the Holiday World Splash and Safari tickets. There are 2 of those that were donated by the Cook family, spelled K-O-C-H. And that is the family that owns Holiday World.
Do also want to mention that the French Lick passes were donated by the Cook Group. So that's C-O-O-K.
Yes, that is the local medical manufacturing here, part of the Cook family, started by Bill Cook almost 60 years ago now. That is part of their Cook properties, and they also restored French Lick West Baden Hotel. So not only did they restore the Tivoli Theater here, but they restored that beautiful hotel and resort down there. We have 4 prints from local artists here. We have the 2 prints by T.J. Vogler. We have the one of the owl and the Lion of Judah that she has done. But then we also have the 2 bridges that were done by Ken Buckley. We have the nice stone bridge there at McCormick Street State Park. And then we have the old iron bridge that crosses the White River. So my grandmother had a 1980 Impala, and she painted that bridge. Her car was wide, and the bridge had little planks you could kind of drive on. And every so often, you have a young kid that would look on that bridge with you, and my grandmother would just freak out. She'd be like, oh! And she would get as close to the side as she could, like, watch the mirror, watch the mirror, watch the mirror, watch the mirror. So she did not like to cross that bridge if someone else thought they could get on there with her.
Especially if it's a school bus. I can remember some school buses have some tight fits on that bridge, as another vehicle decided that it was small enough to cross the bridge with the school bus.
Then we have the Wonderland Tickets. That is a set of 4 tickets that you can bid on and take a trip over to Bloomington to Wonderland, where there's all kinds of fun for the kiddos.
Yes, it's a great experience if you have children that might be interested in science, because it really gives the kids a chance to get hands-on with science and learn at the Wonder Lab. So it's a great asset to the community in the Bloomington area.
And for you nature lovers, we have the 2 park passes. We have the regular park pass, and then we have the golden park pass. Those are good at all state parks. Just because we have one here in our backyard, and the Friends of the Corners Creek have donated those, hey, take a trip, go over to Brown County State Park, go up to Turkey Run. Those are just a couple that are close to us. But there are, I think, almost 20 state parks in the state of Indiana. So you can make that a destination.
And you could also, if you wanted to take a couple bits here, get your book and find out what are interesting places to go with the natural guide to areas of southern Indiana. Maybe I should read that again. A guide to natural areas of southern Indiana. It says 119 unique places to explore.
That was donated by David and Lydia Perone. And then we have our outdoor bundle here, donated by Valley Optical. It has a pair of sunglasses, and then it has a lounge chair that's playable. It's like some beach towels for the pool. I'm not sure. It's called a critter blaster. I'm not going to pull it out because I don't want to not be able to put it back in. But if you want to know what a critter blaster is, you can bid on that little package there.
Maybe you got some spring break plans. That would be a great little basket to take with you on spring break.
And then we have the tumbler here that has been done. It has a little charm that goes with it. Looks like there's an ink pen and some information on that. If you would like more creativity items like this, you can contact that individual.
Oh, and how can we have forgotten the lovely hand-knit socks? We have 2 pair. One pair is a little bit bigger than the other, but I would say probably neither size is really big enough for men's. These are more women's socks, but beautiful hand-knit socks there, donated by Joyful You, Diana Curry.
For those who did not see them, they are a blue with an orange stripe, then there's a green with a white stripe. So if you didn't see them when we held up earlier, I do think there is an image. If you click on the auction items, you can actually see that picture of those. And let's see here, what else do we have? Movies.
We forgot the photography.
Oh yes, shoot, I'm sorry. Amy Weaver, she has, a lot of people here locally have her do their family photos, whether it just be your annual family photo you need, or sometimes it's for the holidays. You want that nice photo to be able to send on cards or something. Amy Weaver has donated a session of photos, and you get...
That does include 30 digital
Tivoli Theater. See those photos and let all of our fans and followers see the love, or people who love and support the Tivoli Theater.
I mean, you guys get to see us. It's only fair that we get to see you too. So
yes, think to yourself, how much popcorn did we sell the first year that we were open after we were in 2013?
Sound seems to be gone.
oh,
It looks like it's working.
Okay, so in case you didn't hear the question, I asked, who can guess how many pounds of popcorn we served in the first year? Now, I'm not counting the popped popcorn that's fluffy. I'm counting the kernels before they're popped. So, think big.
I'll give you a clue. In that first year, we had over 31,000 visitors come through the theater. How many?
1,500 pounds of popcorn. So,
And our popcorn, we do have a fun and neat item that is a 35 pounds of popcorn. That is how we get our kernels. They come in a big bag, and so that would buy one bag of popcorn for $20, I believe.
right now we have had 19 of those bid on. It is once they're bid, they drop off. I think there was 30 of those to go, 40 to start with.
I believe so, yes.
So those are just $20. So if you need, you're looking for something, or maybe you've got a little more money to spend, $20, you can help sponsor that popcorn that keeps us going. It's that thing that people smell when they first come in and they have to have. We have a Craters machine, and that machine has been running beautifully ever since we installed it. When we were reopening the theater, we toured several others. We were up in Rockville, and the little Ritz Theater there has had their Craters popcorn machine since the 50s, and it is still cranking out popcorn. So we wanted that same quality when we were ready to start serving customers, so we got our own Craters popcorn machine, and it has done wonders for us. Every time they come to do its annual inspection and stuff, they're like, we are amazed at how clean this machine is. And so cleanliness is one of our passions here, and every so often we have a new person, and I'm like, I've been working in the food industry for 20 years. I will show you the proper way to clean this, and that's why it looks so beautiful. And they kind of look around at other people, and they're like, yeah, he's a little anal about that. So we take pride in our popcorn machine. Again, we've had very few issues with it. We did have to get a new door because our lovely janitor, you can tell him you heard about his little incident. He was changing the trash can, and he stood up and popped the door off, and it went flying. So that was about the most issues we've had with the machine is we had to buy a new door.
And the great thing about popcorn is that is the one item, besides just coming to the movies to see a movie, that people say they have missed during all this COVID time. They're like, where's the popcorn? We miss having our theater popcorn. So just as a side note, anytime that we have a Thursday movie, even if you can't come to the movie, stop by and buy popcorn.
That's right. If we're open for office hours or anything, you can always get popcorn. So we have 15 minutes left. Auction going on. We have 100% of our candy of the month sponsored. So thank you, candy lovers out there. Again, maybe popcorn's not your thing. I think there's a thing on there for office supplies that you can do. And there was one other thing there, wasn't there?
Capital projects.
Capital projects. So sometimes we have a project that we need to work on. Like this year, we had our screen maintenance. It's something that we have to have done every 5 or 7 years.
Every 5 years.
Every 5 years, and that's a $2,000 cost. So to have them come and work on the mechanisms, make sure that that screen works right. That way when we have a live event, we can lift the screen, such as tonight, so that we can use the stage. Or, maybe it's been Lloyd Woods up here. Don't forget to bid on him. Or Clayton Anderson. Those live events that we have like that. Or Spencer Main Street's event coming up in October. That would have been Ventriloquism. Lynn, can't remember the last name, first name is Lynn, but she also will have a juggler with her, so come join us for that. But so we have to have that screen maintenance so that we can lift it up. It goes up into our fly area, and it lifts the speakers for all the dialogue and some of the music for the movies are all attached to that. So that is what we use when we have those capital projects like that.
Well, and one of the other things to remember when we are screening, we also have the local civic theater productions on our stage. And they actually have one coming up at the end of March. They had to cancel The Great Gatsby last year, and so they have brought that back, and they will have that on the Tivoli stage the last weekend in March. So there's another reason why we need the screen to keep going up and down.
So many people in the last 8 years have connected and brought together through the Owen County Civic Theater. I know I have been in 3 plays myself. It is something that I first had to kind of get talked into, then I kind of found that I liked it, and then I kind of made my wife practice lines with me, and she's like, well, how come you don't have a kissing scene? I'm like, do you want me to kiss another woman? She's like, never mind. I'll just read lines with you.
That's right. His lips are only for me.
But we do have an update. We are up to $17,000, folks. $17,000. So keep on bidding those numbers. We are so close to 20,000. Can we hit that tonight?
Yes, I hope so. I do believe last year we collected almost 18,000, so we're approaching our funding from last year, which, you know, that funding was so vital for keeping us alive during 2020. You know, if it wasn't for all those sponsorships, we would have not had any movies to show because we didn't have any revenue coming in.
So most of our free programming, which right now what we're doing is you can reserve your seat for $3 and redeem that voucher at the concession stand. So we have a showing every Thursday at 2 o'clock and then at 6:30 in the evening. And so we offer that twice. We have people that drive from Martinsville every week to come see their little movie and get away. We have regulars who come on their date night, you know, a little husband and wife that just want to come out and see the movie and have some popcorn. It's quiet, it's relaxing. You get to see my lovely wife, you get to see Jessica Barrett, the front end house manager. Sometimes we have one of our other house managers here, Anna Mart and her husband Dave Riddell, who does projection. So occasionally we plan for a bigger movie, so we'll have a couple other volunteers in. Just depends on what type of movie we have coming in, but we've been handling that. Or, you know, we are always geared to have extra people step up and work behind the counter. When we think we are going to have a slightly bigger crowd. But did you know that you can volunteer? You can go on to the Spencer Tiddley website, and we have volunteer applications there, and you can sign up to become a volunteer. We have, to date, almost 500 volunteers come through our doors. We have had best friends made from the volunteers who have come together.
We reconnected through volunteering.
That's right. She's seen me, she's like, oh man, I gotta have him. Maybe that was the other way around. But anyway, we were reconnected from volunteering.
So you can come volunteer with us. Now, you may be asking yourselves, what are we doing different with COVID restrictions? So you can't see because the camera's facing us, but we have every other row taped off or roped off so that we have social distancing in place. We also are limiting the number of people that are in the auditorium. We do see 286 seats here in the auditorium, and every week we will go out to the state website and see what the restrictions are for our county. I'm very pleased to announce that this last week we actually made it back to the blue status, which means we could technically have 250 people here, but that's a little close for social distancing.
So we are still limited to 100. We can easily social distance at that. So as we move forward with some first run movies that we're hoping to, we'll be able to accommodate a little more people than we do with our throwback movies. Although if we have 100 people come to a throwback movie, we'll be high-fiving one another.
Absolutely.
However, we have sanitizer stations also set up, and then we have a seating chart. So as people come and sit, we then take and mark where they sit, so that way as they leave, we can go through and clean the seats, wipe them down where they have been seated for the movie, and we take and make sure it's sterilized for the next show. We also wipe down the door handles and stuff after people have come in. That way, you know, as you're leaving and stuff, the doors are nice and clean, and anything that may have been on them has been removed.
We do also ask that you wear face masks when you're in the common areas, such as the entrance and concessions and our foyer area. Once you are seated with your concessions that hopefully you have purchased, then you can remove your mask to enjoy your concessions.
And for the volunteers, we also have some barriers up, plastic partitions to help protect, just for that extra little bit there at the concession area, protects the volunteers and the patrons. But we work very hard to keep the theater clean. One of the things that people tell us they come back is because we are clean. We're not one of those theaters where we're trying to get as many people in and as many shows as you can. We typically have maybe 4 or 5 shows a week when we have our regular movies on the weekend. We have plenty of time to clean between, and that gives us that chance to make sure that you're coming into a clean and safe environment each and every time you visit the Tivoli Theater.
We have been notified that we are within 5 minutes of the auction closing, so better check those bids and make sure that you're the highest bid on the one that you want. And since we went over some of our COVID stuff, I would also like to do a quick announcement. As far as our movies that we have upcoming, we do start our first run movies again in March. So the first weekend in March, we will be showing Raya and the Last Dragon. That's the newest release from Disney. We will have that for 2 weekends. And then that will be also going into spring break. So we'll probably try to throw some extra shows in there for spring break. But then the weekend following spring break, we will have Tom and Jerry, the new animated movie. Or not animated, it's partly animated. Tom and Jerry are animated.
It's got a crossover. It's got some live action and it's also got some animation in it. I'm going to go over a couple things real quick. We still have room for some of the bid on A Quiet Man, starring Colin Firth and Juliana Moore. So don't forget that movie. And then we have, let's see here, any others that still need bid on? I'm scrolling. Looks like someone has bid on almost all of them.
While he's looking at that, let me run over our Thursday throwbacks for March. It is musical weeks for March, which may or may not be your thing, but if it is, come and join us. We will have the first Thursday of March, we have 7 Brides for 7 Brothers. I always want to mix that title up, but it's one of my favorites. I love that movie.
If you catch her at the right moment, she'll tell you that's 7 Brides for 7 Sisters, and you'll get a chuckle.
But then the second Thursday of the March month, we have Grease. We were originally going to do that as a sing-along, but our booker advised us that perhaps a sing-along in COVID times wasn't a great idea.
At the time that it was on the list, COVID wasn't here, and we just kind of forgot that it was the sing-along version until he reminded us.
But who doesn't know all the songs to Grease? So you can hum to yourself, or wear a shield so that you're not spitting on the person in front of you.
You can grease your hair back, put on your leather jackets.
And then for the third Thursday in March, we have Annie, Get Your Gun. So, and also those movie sponsors that had sponsored from last year. I'm trying to remember here. We have the Lighthouse Fellowship of Gosport. They did the first movie, which is 7 Brides for 7 Brothers. And then Grease is sponsored by Owen County Civic Theater. If you didn't catch their production of that, they actually did that not too long ago. And then our last one, Annie, Get Your Gun, is sponsored by Curry Farms.
Okay, so we had 2 movies that still needed bidding on. That was War Room and in our Christian category for the Face of Faith, and then we had A Single Man in our LGBTQ plus category. So someone out there, click on those and give us little bids so that we can say every movie was bid on tonight. And
let's do some prize drawings real quick before we get out of our time. It looks like we have maybe about 2 minutes left. 1 minute, something. Jessica White.
No relation.
But I'm sure she's lovely. We have Lisa Eldridge. Donna Slaughter. And Lydia Perrone, one of our favorite volunteers. Totally by accident, we didn't plan that at all.
One more?
Yes, let's do one more. And Beth Rubel. Okay, Beth, you're from the art craft, which we love, your theater as well. So congratulations.
Yeah,
You know
I'm
who
not
you
gonna try
are.
to mess up that last name, but we know you.
So, speaking of the art craft, they also are a historic theater that is doing the same thing that we are, except for they do it with 35 miller, what's the terminology for the?
They are a canned theater. They do reel to reel. So they have 5 reels of film typically for each one of their movies that they do, 35 millimeter film. And they have it the old fashioned way where you get about 20 or so minutes of film. There's a little bell that kind of goes off for the projectionist. Then he has to look for some little flashing black lights up in the corner. And at that point, he knows it's time to switch on the other camera. And it takes over, and then he rewinds and film on the other one and loads that one back up and waits for that little.
I'm so glad we're digital. That sounds like a lot of work. But we are wrapping it up because we're getting very close to our 8 o'clock time. I believe we might have a total coming in. So get those last minute bids in. Remember that I love it. We love the theater. We are up to $18,390. I believe that breaks last year's total. So congratulations everybody for giving so generously and for showing up here with us today.
Thank you all. No matter what amount you spent, whether it was a small amount with the popcorn bags that was $20, or if you did any of our movie sponsors, the full cost for a movie typically can be up to $350. Some of the studios have given us a break right now with COVID, so we've been able to get things a little cheaper. But when we do get a full sponsor, it helps cover anything that wasn't quite sponsored. And then thank you for anyone who sponsored for any of our silent auction items here. I say silent because the film was off. Hopefully you can still hear me. We had many great items donated to us by local people, and then our capital projects in the office. If you've been on any of those, thank you very much. We will utilize every little dollar you give us to keep this building running and the lights on, and the movie's ready for you.
Come and visit us. We have the popcorn. Thank you.
And let us know if you see us. Was it a date or not?